Hey everybody. I was watching the news the other day and they were talking about um, how everything is changing in the world right now, which I know people probably will say blah, 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 blah. We've heard that all before. But economic change is happening. How food prices are going way up, um, cost of living, wages are going up a teeny bit. They're going up to what's more of a reasonable level, but food prices are going way up. And now they say that $335, I believe is what they said, per month would be what would be needed to feed one person for an entire month. And I thought, man, that's a lot of money. But it's because that the foods that people are most comfortable getting, most comfortable eating, a lot of convenience foods. The prices are going up because it's convenient. Pop it in the microwave, get your rice bowl or burger or your whatever. Those prices have gone up. But a way to deal with that and strategize and manage your funds so that instead of spending all your money to feed one person, to be able to use that same amount to feed an entire family, you have to be wise. Some people are coupon cutters, and I used to be a coupon cutter, and it works to an extent. But now it seems like most of those coupons are geared towards things that are a little higher priced anyway. Um, and if that's what you like to do, cool, go ahead and go for it. Do it, clip those coupons. I had clipped so many coupons one time that the store owed me 50 cents, and I thought it was hilarious. Um, but now I shop and I prepare in a different way. If there's an opportunity, if there's a food drive or whatever, or food giveaway, I do go to that. You've seen, I'll show what I've received, and oftentimes it's 3 or 4 times the amount of what I've received, and I give most of it away. Share with neighbors or family, people in my immediate vicinity. Um, and as you've seen, if you've watched my avocado video, some of the giveaway stuff is good and some of it is not so good. There's a percentage. So you're going to pay a price one way or the other. Sometimes you're paying a price financially. Sometimes it's that you got the stuff, you hauled it all the way home, you go through your preparations and your process of cutting it open, and you see what's on the inside, and sometimes what's on the inside doesn't measure up to what you see on the outside. It's just kind of how it is. But then there's also free grocery stores, like in some churches and community centers that have what's called a free grocery. Some places call it a food shelf, where you can go. Some places you can go once a month, and your name is in the list because you live in that geographic area, and there is a certain amount of each item that you're able to get. Other places, like the free grocery store, you may be able to go once a week and pick up whatever you need. They may even say, sure, you have a neighbor that you know needs something and they're not able to get around? Sure, why don't you get something for them too? So it depends on where you are as to how that all works. There are some larger community centers that will give quite a bit, but they'll tell you to come once a month. But sometimes it's so much that you can't even carry it unless you got a luggage carrier or a wagon or some kind of a cart or something to drag it out. And if you have a vehicle, great, you can put it all in your vehicle. If you don't have a vehicle, then you're kind of stuck dragging that all on the bus. There's farmers markets. Farmers markets are great. I like farmers markets personally because it's fresh food. Get to know where your food is really coming from. That's one of the things that I like to say, and that's something that I like to practice in my everyday life. I like knowing who baked the bread. I like knowing who made the granola. I like knowing, you know, where my fruits and vegetables come from. I really do. And if you're a part of one of those government food programs like NAPS, which is the Nutritional Assistance Program for senior citizens, it's a food commodity box that they give out pretty much all around the nation, but their parameters of how they do it may vary from state to state. If you're a part of a program like NAPS, you get that box each month, and yeah, it may seem like the same stuff all the time. You're getting the rice, you're getting a couple of things of dried beans, you're getting some milk, you're getting some juice, you're probably getting a couple of cereals and a couple of cans or packages of meat, a variety of things like that. And you get the government block of cheese, which is no longer cheddar cheese. It's more processed like other brands like Velveeta or something. But if you're part of that program and you sign up for it, you'll know you have that amount each month that you're getting. So many senior citizens who are living on Social Security, if they're getting any kind of other government assistance, like from medical or whatever, their county or local government may offer them food support. And the food support is usually in the amount of about $13. Yeah, you heard that right. $13 a month to be able to have something to eat. That's it. Because if they are getting their Social Security, I don't know. I guess it's assumed that they're going to live off that Social Security check and not really need much to eat. Unless they're on a specialized diet. If they're on a special diet, such as a renal diet or whatever, if they have to have a special diet because of their kidneys or whatever, sometimes the government assistance will increase the amount of the food support to $87. Now, during this pandemic, they were extra generous and they did increase for many people how much money they were able to get for food support. But of course, there's a timeline. You can't just like save up that money forever. They would have to go and spend it. Because I think after a year it just kind of disappears, because if you haven't used it in that amount of time, then their belief is that you really didn't need it. So that's where programs like the NAPS program come into place and subsidize what the person is already getting from the county or state, and some people don't even get that $13, which is a shame. So having that commodity box with the dried beans and stuff, and a lot of people were like, oh, dried beans and rice, regular rice. This is not some instantaneous pop it in the microwave or cook it for 5 minutes, right? This is like stuff that you got to really cook. These are the kinds of things that I'd like to show you how to work with here on my channel. And when you get these things, and you get peanut butter, I think they get peanut butter in the box as well. So when you get these things, sort through things. Things can be stored, put up. It doesn't mean you have to have a feast on that. Especially if you're interested in having other things, or have a desire to have other things to eat. But it just means you got to pinch your pennies, use your money wisely to get what you need. But then you got bites and bikes. May have mobile food shelves. You might have different community emergency services or things like that are able to offer other helpful, nutritious foods to supplement the diet. And yes, some of these things are maybe close to their expiration date. Some of these things may have been donated from the larger food companies as they were getting down to like that last month or so before they would expire, so that the food companies can bring in new stuff, stock on their shelves. Any meat or anything that comes from those companies like that meat is immediately put in the freezer until it's taken out to be put on the truck to be delivered to the location where the people need the food to eat. So there's a process, and I know people may stand in a line going to get something that's free, and when they get it, they look at the meat and say, well, look at this expiration date. Yes, there's an expiration date on there, but there's a shelf life. And if something is if it's meat and it was frozen within that time, it still has a shelf life. Once it comes from that warehouse freezer section and goes into the refrigerated truck and is delivered, there is a timeline for how long it can be, basically out in open air and not under that same condition in the freezer at the warehouse. So then it has to be given out within that time, and people that come and get it while it's still freshly frozen, they need to put it away. They need to take it home and put it away right away so that it still has some viability to it. So there are some things that can be done to stretch our dollars. $335 a month for one person for food. When I heard that the other day on the news, I had to think about it. I still don't spend that kind of money per month on food. If I wanted to, maybe I could, but why would I want to do that when I have other things to do with my money? So I choose to be like the ant, store up the things that I need, go to the farmer's market when I can, or a global market or wherever, and get those produce items dehydrated or do some canning, whichever, whatever is my pleasure. Leave a small part of it fresh so that it can be prepared and eaten that week. But the rest, I try to put it up because we don't know what's coming. Look what's happening down in the Florida area right now and in North Carolina. All these storms and hurricanes and power outages. Remember Texas had that power outage? Texas had a power outage, a couple months ago? And it was for an extended amount of time. So that's why it's good to be like the worker ant and store up what you need. Especially if you feel like you just got a little bit of extra cash. Sometimes it's best to hold on to that extra cash because you don't know what's coming right around the corner. And if you go out and spend it on stuff that's really not necessary, but because you're bored or whatever, then you're going to be stuck needing help because you've given up the very thing that you needed to keep. So I hope you're all having a good day. Join me later, and I look forward to cooking with you.